Mate, what is with all these NRL Fantasy podcasts? They all sound the fucking same. Welcome to the echo chamber.
Hello and welcome to the NRL Fantasy Echo Chamber. We're back with Eddy and Ridley and Scoop for round 2 team lists. How are you going, Eddy?
Oh, I can't complain, mate. Can't complain. The team seems to be in relatively good shape. Looking forward to round 2.
Yeah, it's good. Finally have some footy back and to actually have some decent scores in round 1, unlike last year where 700 wasn't too bad. I think most of us did a lot better than that. How about you, Ridley?
Yeah, not the best week, not the worst week. We'll take it.
Yeah, nice, good stuff. I think I ended up with 889 or something, which I reckon probably 900 was par if you're a serious player. So not the worst. Could have done better, but yeah, that's about it. Do you end
You
up?
beat me by 2 points
Yeah,
in a head-to-head matchup. Fucking, I was gutted. Yeah, I think that's it's a fine score because the main thing I'm taking away from it is starters. My fucking rank's a lot better than it was rank 1 last year. We're not that many points off a good rank. We can catch it up easily in 1 week. But the main thing is that the most important thing is I've come out of it and I've got no fucking real fires. Like my cash cows are all making money. Like most of my players are doing what I wanted them to do. Like my 2 biggest issues are just Metcalf, who's a decent issue, and my next worst issue would be safe off, and that's probably actually not even an issue. So
yeah,
yeah, it's just nice. It's nice to just know that okay, like I'm pretty happy with the squad I got straight off the bat, and I only got to make 1 trade. So it's really nice to get a trade banked under the sleeve this early.
much nicer than last year, where I think we all had about 5 or 6 fires coming out of round 1, and it felt like we didn't get on top of it until about a month and a half into the season. You in a similar boat, Ridley?
Yeah, no, I'm pretty much very similar to Eddie over here. I've only really got Medi to cut, and Seyfarth is sitting there with some concerns. I think the big thing this year is that about 8 out of 10 cashies have worked out, whereas last year
Yeah.
it felt like 2 out of 10 cashies were working and everyone was fucking injured. So this feels like a much nicer start. A lot of really viable players, a lot of really viable teams with a lot of differences. I think we're in for a really good year this year.
Yeah, I
It's
think
just
the team list this week just show that it's going to be a little bit more consistent as well. But yeah, what were you saying, Eddie?
it's just nice not to have to fuck around with the fucking cheapies like you have to do most years because it sucks fucking trading cheap guys to other cheap guys. It's that alongside with making the decision to trade guns to other guns. Those 2 things are the biggest trade killers in fantasy. So it's really nice to be able to fucking not have that issue right now.
Yeah, I agree. There's only really a couple that are sort of heading towards chopping block, but there's nobody you just want to absolutely get out of your team in a hurry unless you, I don't know, went like a Moale or something, which absolutely just bombed for you, or Chualagi. I'd say probably they're the only 2 that really would have caught out a few people.
That's more bombed mid ranges, which is fucking common.
Yeah.
That 400 to 500 spot fucking is often the spot of death. Because you really requiring them to like actually turn into decent players, or else it's just straight up fail. And there's a lot of the traps tend to come around that price range.
Yep. I absolutely agree. Should we get stuck into this Thursday game?
Yeah. Oh, should we before we do that? Should we? So who was the leader in the Echo Chamber podcast league this week?
So it would have been Squirtin for Burton or Geordie if they had joined the overall league.
No.
Yeah.
Not just out of us podcasters. Like who is winning the Echo Chamber fantasy league?
That's Kane Toads Forever, which is
Kane Toads Forever.
Yeah, the coach is Peter. He's currently overall rank 8, so he's killed it with a score of 1,000. Yeah, he's killed it with a score of 1,018. must say he's got some great selections here that have just worked out for him. He's got Jai Arrow sitting at an edge is a notable pick after playing 80 minutes and just
Turner.
scoring a fucking phenomenal amount. He's got Sharp sitting in wing fullback. And I think the other one of note that he's used is he brought in Jesse McLean at centre to get into Marley's score, which is interesting and could work out. We could see, given that Casey's out this week. Oh no, Casey's not out because they were going.
Should have just got Brimo, bro. Fuck.
Oh, they had to go in the centre spot, so should have been Toa.
Yeah, Toa would have been better.
Yeah, but other than that, he's got a very decent team. He's got Haas, Watson, Gilbert, Cleary. Yep, I think he's in a good spot. The McLean thing might cause issues going further down the track, but other than that, he seems like he has a nice team.
Yeah, sick. Well, fucking he's a Nate. Good on him. Now we've got a sort of private league, which is just our sort of crew called AFG, which is what our podcast is sort of pulls people from. And we've for the last couple of years we've done awards for King of the Week and Shit Cunt of the Week. King of the Week, was that Geordie?
Technically,
it was Geordie, yes.
Yeah. He got 945, I think. Squirting for Burton might have got higher, but hasn't been around, hasn't chucked his name in the league yet.
Ah, fucking dumbass. And Geordie is also top of the podcasters league. Fucking. So it's nice to have someone up the top of there. Fucking obviously Geordie off the back of his massive 4th place in overall last year and coming out fucking swinging again.
Just so everyone knows who's listening on, the Podcasters League is literally where all the podcasters across every other podcast or content creation for fantasy all come and verse each other to determine who's the best podcast. So currently
apart from Talking League, because for the last 2 years they've refused to enter. I think TK doesn't like it when his people get shown up and he's just him and all his people just all refuse to join. They don't want to play in the sandbox with the other kids because they're little six.
It was a bit strange too because he came 600th that year that he did join, and that was like 8th or 9th or something.
Yeah, I don't know. He's just a fucking bitch. But everyone else is in there because some people might not know. Like a lot of us podcasters all know each other. Like fucking us, Jamie Brown, Jessup, the Talking League boys, like the Boom or Bust boys. Like we all sort of know each other from around the trips quite well. So it's good bit of rivalry, and I think it's just the best way to fucking sort of point out like. How good are these guys you're listening to? Like,
yeah.
And at the moment, we're up there. It's only round 1, but I'm sure we're going to be coming in hot all season.
Gotta love it. We'll keep you updated throughout the season and see who's firing and who's fallen off a little bit. But yeah,
interesting to see that Scoop has elected to represent JBFA instead of the Echo Chamber in the Podcasters League, though.
Yeah, I'm still in my roots a little bit there, but got plenty of good representation other than that too. I think we've got like about 4 others in there.
We do. I just give you shit.
Real Judas.
But someone that hasn't been as good as Jay-Z is this cunt's shit cunt of the week, Beluga. Yeah, he was shit.
He got about 790 or something, didn't he? I think he had
sub 80.
Yeah,
brother.
Pretty much. Yeah. He had Ryan Couchman and I can't remember who else bombed, but yeah, it wasn't pretty, and he has got that title for this round. Let's see how the goes.
That Beluga math not paying off yet.
Not yet.
He's played Purdue and he's got Brimo and JC in the emergencies.
I wasn't even going to mention that. I didn't want to point out any mitigating circumstances. Bad.
Yeah.
I wanted to not say that at all, and then wait for him to blow up in the comments.
Sorry, my bad.
Good stuff. Well, he might have a bounce back with those two this week. But first of all, we've got to figure out how these teams are going to score. And first of all, we have the Knights taking on the Dolphins in the Thursday night match. Both teams look pretty close, except for the Knights. We have Adam Elliott moving back on to the bench after being in the reserves last week. For the Dolphins, there are a couple of changes. You've got Finafiliaki out with, I think, a head knock, and Lemuelu broke his eye socket, I believe, be out for a month or so, and they're replaced by Oren Keeley. Comes into the starting side, and is it Ray Stone comes onto the bench? Something like that.
Yep.
But
Yeah, he is on the bench.
yeah, very similar to last week, other than those two. So, really, how do you see this game going down?
Pretty one-side traffic. I think Knights are a pretty decent team if they can stop playing and dropping the ball and making stupid errors like they did the entirety of the game against the Tigers. I think they'll blow Dolphins out of the park. I think Dolphins just are not a very good team, and I don't think that they're really going to stand much of a chance against the strike power that the Knights have in their backline.
Yeah, I think they might struggle with that fucking Knights left edge this time, mate. I think they
Yeah,
could be in a bit of trouble there.
I think O'Brien is going to tear them a new one for bombing so many last week. Like, you could see they were getting it to there and getting it to there, and it just kind of broke every single time they touched it. It was really frustrating to watch as a Marzu owner until he managed to get that one at the end, which was handy. But once it clicks, I reckon that all of that line will absolutely feast as a result. Like, Ponga got like 60 or so without basically doing anything heavy in stats wise in the attack, but he was just everywhere. And you could just see that as soon as it does click, he's going to be on for some 70s and some 80s on the regular.
I must
I
say, I'm
think you're right
scared.
about.
You go, but Eddie.
I think you're right about O'Brien giving them earful, because one of the things I most remember about that game was in the final seconds leading into half time, the camera went up to fucking him in the coach's box, see him standing up. You couldn't hear him, but he was clearly swearing at the top of his lungs, looking furious, turning around and storming out the fucking door to head down towards the sheds to rip the shit out of the fucking players. Fucking, I had a good chuckle at that. Fucking, it reminded me a little bit of Bellamy when you see Bellamy kicking off in the box.
Yeah, it'll be good. We need to see the return of Bradman Best, not Bradman Worst, who can't hold the ball or pass it.
I'm scared. I think Pong is going to be in for a really big year. Him getting a 60 last week in a pretty much what was a pretty nothing game. I think if once he gets some more attacking stats, I think he's going to go really big. And as a non-owner, that concerns me. I think anyone that has brought Ponga in is going to have a really good ride with Knights' soft early draw to start.
Yeah, Ponga's looking sharp. I'd say he's a buy, but then I doubt that many people have money to get Ponga unless they're trading a gun to a gun, which I don't believe in doing.
100%. I am hoping
yeah,
that this
he's
game,
going good.
the Knights might go left a little bit more, even they didn't really use that side of the pitch to attack too often. And when they did, Best just held the ball. I'm looking at the Dolphins' left edge with Aparillo and Asako. I think. That is their left. That's the edge that Marzu and Best will be running at. I'm hoping that's where they'll focus their attack compared to trying to batter their way through Farnworth, who's a really good defender. So I'm hoping that'll mean more stats for boys like Lucas and Marzu.
Fuck yeah, Lucas was fucking boss. I still think he's a fucking buy. If you've got a bit of money to upgrade fucking a mid ranger that's fucking not looking as good as you'd hoped, I still think he's a massive buy. I think he's going to have a mean season. He looks so good.
His run was
He's
fucking
going to be.
phenomenal.
I think he's going to be the top centre this year easily.
Yeah, I
reckon
wouldn't be surprised.
I'll be surprised if he's not.
I just don't think there's going to be anyone close. I think Fermor will be too up and down, and Garrick's not going to average that high, and he got 55 with a try. I think you're right. I think he's going to be the top scoring centre. I think there's going to be a bit of a gap between anyone who's following up on him. As you say, I
think Firma's already at a ceiling, whereas I think mate's still on the rise, eh?
I rate Fermo. I think he has room for growth, especially in a Titans side that I'm expecting to be better. I just think that Lucas he's really looking like he's going to have a stellar season. He's on the right side of the attacks that you want him to be on, which is the left side for the Knights. I think he's just going to get good ball from good players. I think he's going to tear up. And as you say, I think he's a buy. If you have money and you're not trading a gun to him and you have a reason to cash someone up, get Lucas into your team. He's a good hold all season to really fix up
Yeah.
that centre position.
Well, he's that rare kind of edge where he's an attacking edge that's also got a big defensive work rate. Like, there's not that many of those, and he's definitely one of them. Him, Preston and Crichton sort of are the main three.
On the speaking of the edges of Knights, what did you think of KPP?
Yeah, did a good job. But fucking, as I said, if you're going to own one Knight's Edge, why don't you get the one that's the bigger gun that also has centre DPP?
Exactly. When the game started, KPP was on 24 in 24 minutes, and I thought, damn, some of the other leagues have been the podcast have been talking him up quite a lot, but he just fucked off and did nothing for the next 60 minutes, and I think barely made his way to a 40. I think,
No,
as you said, Lucas was the better.
I think didn't he make it to 50?
he got to 52, so he ended up going all right. But yeah, I think that early points also is because he got a few offloads, and yeah, I think he's solid, but he's sort of in that sort of like that sort of safe half bracket where he's got value, but he's not going to be as good as some of the others in the position.
You're quite right. I misspoke. It is 52 who you get to. I swear he was sitting on 40s at the back end of the game.
I just think he's just in that same bracket as guys like him, Bateman, Sieg Wilton, and those sort of ones that are just going to sort of sit probably just like around that sort of 49-50 sort of area. And I think Lucas is just another 5 points ahead of that.
Yep.
Should we move on
Because
to the Finns?
Lucas won't go missing for big periods like fucking KPP can. Lucas will work all game. Like, even if he's not not getting many attacking stats one game, like, he's still going to go out and make a good amount of tackles and run meters, even on a
34
quieter
last
game.
week. Yeah,
Was it
34.
34 on pace, was it?
34 tackles. So that's what you
Yeah.
want to see. So yeah, I do think just that whole Knights left side is fantastic. You can't load too heavy because they got that, was it round 4 bye? But yeah, man, those first few matches are juicy, and I've got a piece of it with two of them. It's just sort of staring behind the couch from Ponga and seeing how big he goes versus the others.
I think Mazu's also going to be good, but I think he's more now just one for people that already own him. Same with KPP, I'd put in that basket too, where if you've got them, they're going to be a decent buy now, especially Mazu. But I don't think they've got enough value to be bothering to trade them in and then trade them out again, because I don't think either of them will be keepers or massive cows. They've just got a bit of value each.
Yep, I can agree with that. I think you wouldn't trade them in pretty much like you wouldn't sideways trade Seyfarth to a Gilbert, for example. That's what I reckon trading in Marsu is, in my opinion.
Even I'd be more inclined to do the Gilbert trade than I would be to bring in Mazu, but I probably wouldn't do the Gilbert trade either.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll talk about Tommy Gilbert now and his Dolphins. So it's probably a little bit better for him this week with those two forwards missing. What do we think Oren Keeley's going to do? He's not base price, so he's not really a buy, especially if Finifuliaki's back.
He's just a
But
trap.
it probably keeps Plath on the edge maybe a little bit more, just lets Tom do a few more things. But yeah, he's not going to get 59 tackles in 59 minutes again, but that was a really nice sign to see for owners that he's going to get involved that much.
Yeah, well, we don't need him to fucking get 65 every week. Fucking, it makes you more confident that he could push up to a 50 average, though.
Yeah, I must say, as a non-owner, I'm a bit scared about Gilbert. He played so well, but that's got to be like that is the most tackles he's made in a single game in his entire career. Like that is his boom match. I don't see him getting even close to that tackle count again this year. But the mins he has, he's still going to fucking score well for you. He's going to be making money now. His B's down to 23. Like I'd be tempted to get him in if you have the option to, but like I wouldn't go blowing up your team to get him in.
No, I wouldn't do that either. But like if you've got someone that you're not happy with that you want to get rid of, like if you wanted to go Metcalf to him, I'd definitely be happy to do that.
I can't do this myself. I think. What would you say about going Seyfarth to Gilbert if you could do that in a one trade?
Probably not. Like Seyfarth's value is still there as long as he's playing the 80 minutes at edge. Like we don't expect it to change drastically. I think that was probably his floor game and that was a ceiling game for Gilbert. Yeah, he will lag behind in money making, but he'll still probably will make that money. And you're just pushing that money forwards, I guess, by making that trade. You're not actually ending up with that much of a higher squad value.
I think it's kind of borderline, honestly. I wouldn't I wouldn't talk you out of it either way.
I think I'm with you,
'Cause
Eddie. I don't have the money to do it myself. If I did, I would think I'd strongly consider it. But I don't
he
think.
does have DPP, and like there's a chance he could be a keeper, and I just don't see fucking Seyfarth won't end up being a keeper.
I'm with you. I think that you could go either way. I think it really depends on your makeup of your team, and I think it's really crucial on you being able to do it in one trade. Like I don't think you should not be forcing a second
No.
trade so you can get
No.
safe after Gilbert.
Even for
Yeah, like
Force,
don't be
I'm not
like
sure
yeah.
if I'd push two trades.
I would
Oh,
for Horse.
no, I probably would because I think Horse is a flat out keeper.
I'm with Eddie here. I wouldn't blow up my team, but I would force two trades, like with one that's a fringe maybe sell to get a Horse into your team. Especially when there's so
Yeah,
many cash out options at the moment, where you have Toa coming in, you have Humphreys that most people don't have. A lot of people don't have Hubner. There's so many cashes at the moment. Using one
like
cash down and someone who's not doing good to get in Horse, I think is a good trade.
yeah, and I will say like adamantly that fucking if you want to own Horse or Gilbert this year, then you should be doing it now. There's no later time. Like all you're doing is just waiting for them to get more expensive now. Like they're never ever going to be cheaper than this again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, if you've got two guys that you can potentially trade out to get Gilbert, sure, but don't just trade out somebody who doesn't need it in order to get him. I reckon is more what I was going for.
Fucking, is there even anyone else relevant in the Dolphins? Not really.
No.
Not very much. Donahue played a fair few minutes, but I mean, I really think that's because Lem hurt himself and Fuyaki did get HI, all that type of stuff. I think he's not a buy. I think some of the other people are getting really excited. I just don't really see why you
No,
buy
that's
somebody
mad.
like
That's
Donahue.
some mad trap vibes.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think if
Oh,
you
I might as
own
well move on
Plath,
to the next.
old
Oh,
Plath, I
sorry.
think he's going to be a really good edge. But other than that, you're not buying Plath. That's the only other thing I'd say.
Yeah,
Plath
no,
looks
he's
really good at edge.
as I said back when we did the middle podcast. The best way to sum up Plath is just saying he was a 2024 buy.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed.
That's all there is to it.
Saying that if you started with them, I think you did well.
I think you probably could have done better with someone like Lucas, but anyway, should we move on to the next game? That's
Yeah.
probably about it for those jokers,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah, we got too excited talking about the Knights left edge, but we'll talk about another edge that was fit and firing. We have Warriors and Manly. The Warriors are pretty close to what they were last week, except they've reverted back to Barnett, Prop, Clark, and Lock. We'll see whether that changes later on. CHT is still the 5/8 with Metcalf 7. There wasn't any change happening yet. TMM's down in 20 in case that does. But yeah, nothing much happening there. On the Sea Eagles side, we have Takiyaho dropping out with his knee problem. And Not a lot else different, but man, the Seagulls lit up the game the other week with some of those fantastic plays. Are they a potential top four contender, Rudley, or is it round one? Stop going too crazy.
As you're going to hear with anyone, when anyone talks about the Eagles, it's always going to come down to how healthy they are. And they're going to be a broken record about it. And it's because it's true. If Tom Trbojevic is not fit for a lot of this year, the Eagles won't even be close to the top four. If Tom Trbojevic is fit for the vast majority of this year, they will be fighting with the Sharks and the Broncos for those bottom two top four spots. And they'll be a lock for the 8. They're a good team that can put on a good score against a lot of bad teams. And their draw isn't terrible.
Yeah, if they stay healthy, I was just talking to Rudley about this before. I've sort of got them around that fifth, sixth sort of mark, but I think that is a bit of a best case, and obviously it requires Turbo to stay healthy, but also fucking their forward pack. If you lost like one key piece out of there, that's looking pretty fragile because their middle's pretty average. Jake Turbo's all right. Like he's really good on defense, but honestly on attack, I don't think he really offers much. If you take Ola Kawatu out of that fucking forward pack, that's a pretty trash forward pack. Like, where's your weapons at?
Yeah, I agree. I think Gerbo, he's gotten a lot older as well, but I think his play style suited the game more before it sped up. We've got all these running around, very active mobile locks now, and when you've got him and Olakawatu as your main two, well, there's not a lot else going. When you've got
Well,
Aloia is one of your starting props, and Jake Simpkin, Corey Waddell, and Bullimore on the bench.
Gerbo's never been fucking very impactful on attack either. Like he can't really bust tackles or be in the line or anything. Like, he's sort of like an Aiden, like a better version of Aiden Tolman, and like that's not a huge asset.
Yeah,
And apart from that, it's guys like Bullimore, fucking Jazz Tavanga, fucking Sipley, like it's just even like Taukiaho at 33, like a lot of mediocrity in there, eh?
Their bench is pretty dire. I think that's a fair comment.
Well, they've got bench quality players starting, and then a bad bench.
But I just think they've got that much strike power, and like with the half that can kick as far as DC he can keep them in the game, even if their forward pack is
Yeah,
somewhat waning. I don't think they're going to beat top teams very frequently. I think they're going to dumpster on a bunch of the poor teams.
yeah,
For
I
the
agree with
entirety of the
that.
season,
All
which is
right,
how I
there'll
see
be a
them making the top 4.
bit of flat track bullying going on, eh?
Yeah. Oh,
yeah,
that's it.
But I don't think they can make the 4 though. I just don't. I think their roster is just nowhere near as complete as the guys I think that'll be top 4. I think Broncos, Storm, Penrith, and Cronulla. Not that wasn't in order. I think those 4 are fucking. To me, that's the top 4 locked. I reckon.
yeah. Broncos look very good on the weekend as well. I don't go chasing Cherry Evans as 78 as a must buy keeper. He's been a keeper in the past, but Luke Brooks kicked for 100 more meters than him. When Luke Brooks moved there, that was kind of the end of him as a top tier halfback. So just don't go there until he doesn't play Origin.
Well, I think he'll play Origin until he retires from fucking the NRL. I'd say.
Yep.
Who the fuck's taking his jersey off him?
Not Walker this year. He's fucking out for most of the year.
Not anyone.
I think you're bang on. I wouldn't chase DCE. He's had a really good game. Simple as that.
Over Origin, he misses like 5 games in like a fucking 8-game period or some shit as well.
Yeah.
Because Manly don't have buys in any of the fucking major buy rounds, so you're missing all the Origin games and then 2 buys on top of those 3. So that's fucking grim for any Origin player from Manly. So I wouldn't want Tommy Turbo for the same reason.
Should we talk about Tommy Turbo then?
Yeah, he's not a buy. If you've got him, he's a hold. But he is what he is. He's a fucking he's a low 50s fullback that plays Origin and is going to miss a bunch of games, and he's injury prone.
Yeah.
I think you'd be disappointed in Tommy's score in what was a really big thrashing to only get 56. To be honest, of course he's a hold if you have him, but you'd be hoping for him to be breaking that 60 mark. You're definitely not buying it.
Yeah, you're never getting Tommy Turbo again. Like, sorry, you're never getting 2021 Tommy Turbo again. Like, that's a pipe dream. He doesn't even try to play like that anymore.
No.
He doesn't try to be that guy that fucking gets the ball 30 times. Like, that's just not how he attempts to play the game anymore. He seems to manage his own load, like a little bit like Trell in that, like, he'll pick and choose his moments a bit more now. Though he will choose more moments than Trell will because he's fitter, but he's just not that fucking that beast anymore. And he doesn't tick all the score boxes the same way as some of the other fullbacks do.
Yeah.
Yeah, no
Like
goals, no
Pogba, for
kick
example.
meters. It's just really hard for him to have that floor compared to the others.
Yeah, so he'll just have the odd really big game where he runs like fucking 240 meters and gets a try and a try assist. But when he doesn't do that, like his scores get a bit meh.
Mm.
Yep,
I
agree
do
with.
like Garrick though. I'm fucking stoked with my boy Garrick. I think you can still get on him if you wanted to, but again, you'd have to have the player to trade to him. I think he's going to be a 50-point centre. If he stays healthy, then he's going to be a keeper all year, and yeah, he's going to play all the major buy rounds, assuming he's healthy. So fucking get hot.
Yeah,
I think
he's
Garrick's a great buy.
he's a very good pick. I was very anxious about not having him and picking Lucas over him. I'm very happy with Lucas, but yeah, I will need somebody like Garrett or a few players from those teams that do play all the three major buy rounds, and Garrick is a big one of them. So
Yeah, because the thing is, like, I've learned in previous years that fucking quality is important over the buy period as well, not just quantity. Fucking like, you don't want just a bunch of shit cunts fucking just because they're available. Like someone like him that you actually fucking want in your team that plays the buys is what you're after. So he's perfect.
Yeah, and it's going to be a big benefit of Manly dumpstering on some bottom teams just with that goal kicking.
Yeah, he's a goal kicker. Yeah,
Yeah,
and
so I think he's a great buy.
yeah, for a centre, he actually, even if you take out the goal kicking, gets great base because he makes like 140 meters a game and like 20 tackles. Like fuck, all centres get that much base.
Yeah,
Especially actual centres.
Bang on the mark. If you start with Garrick, good job. Simple as that. If you want to get Garrick because you have an issue with centre or wing fullback, I wouldn't talk you out of it.
No, fuck no.
sure.
I'll talk you into it.
Absolutely. Good stuff. All right. Yeah. I suppose we've got to talk about the obvious question now that on this Warriors side.
Absolutely.
What are we going to do with Luke Metcalf? Because he had some base, but oh my goodness, that was an unhinged amount of negatives, and he didn't really look like he was going to lead that team around.
Yeah, see, the thing with Metcalf is, like, on one hand, like on other seasons, perhaps if you'd have more problems, and if you had more problems, you could say, oh well, I'll give him another week and see if he comes right. However, there's going to be a buy coming up. He's just severely impacted his ability to make money. We've got Humphreys now. That's basically a must-have. Like Humphreys' break-even is like fucking 50 points less than Metcalf, so that can't wait a week. And if you're anything like me, Metcalf is your most tradable asset, so it's just a natural thing to do. If you've got red dots or bigger problems than Metcalf, like if you've got fucking two Kelmers, then or like a Kelmer and a fucking who's that prop from the
Malale.
fucking yeah. If you had like those two, then yeah, I'd hold Metcalf. But if Metcalf's one of your most tradable assets, then yeah, fuck him off to Humphreys. That's what I'll be doing.
I agree. I think that's going to be my sole trade this week as well. Could be all three of us do, to be honest. As soon as CHT was named, he became a little more questionable. I stayed on. Geordie avoided him, and yeah, if we only thought he was borderline 10 points with CHT stealing that many kick meters, that was not a good first sign for what we wanted to see. And Humphreys could be anything.
Yeah, we talked ourselves into having probably a bigger role than we hoped, but there's multiple red flags with him. Obviously, there's the break even going up because of his bad score. Um, he didn't really look like a dominant half. He sometimes didn't even seem like he wanted the ball, certainly didn't command the ball. Um, Defensively very frail, make a couple of errors. He just didn't look like a guy that's going to turn around and punch out a bunch of attacking stats this week, did he?
No, he had a really bad game, and I hope he recovers. But the thing is, the draw for Warriors really adds into some concerns, which is why I think he's actually a raging sell. He's got Manly this week, which, some of what we just saw Manly did to fucking cows. So some serious concerns here, given how concerned he was in defence. After that, he's got Sydney Tigers bye, and then Melbourne and Broncos. Like, if he does start to get his money going against Sydney and Tigers from a closer game, that bye and then those two top four teams could absolutely ruin it. I think if you hold Metcalf, he's going to be in for a very slow burn if he even holds the position, and if he
Yeah.
manages to get to the role that we actually expect him to have. I
It
think
might be
get him
one of
the
those.
fuck out of your team.
It might be one of those things where he ends up making 100K, but it takes him like 12 rounds to do it.
Yeah, get him out. There's so many
And
cashes at the
fuck
moment.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, he was 440k. I'm almost in no doubt at all, as long as Boyd doesn't come in, that he's going to push probably close to 550k at some point. But that could be by Origin, and I don't know if I want that.
I full on expect Tanner Boyd to come into this team at some point.
If he
That's
continues, if he doesn't seriously lift his game, they're going to have to, because Tanner Boyd is a 7.
And that's what they were missing against the Raiders in my mind, was someone who could take control of the game and do some leading from the half position. And Tanner Boyd is that in my mind.
Yeah, and we're not good enough to fucking have a bad start to the season and try and catch up later. Like, if Metcalf wants to keep the job, like, he's going to have to get better fucking fast.
Yeah.
Yep, agreed.
And I don't know. It's just bad
Any
vibes.
any other points from this? Fish didn't have many minutes, but I think his score's fine, and also there's like
Oh, he's
the
making
props
money.
coming off at the same time was really a bad strategy. I fully anticipate he'll get more this week.
He
I
scored
have
like 6 or 7 points above his break even, so his break evens dropped down lower. He is slowly making money. Yeah, I've got him, and I'm definitely holding him. I can't
yeah,
see why you'd trade him. That'll be very, very fucking premature. If this week he only gets a 40 something and he gets less than 50 minutes again, then I'll start to have some concerns. But I mean, I think it was painfully obvious that what they did with the middle minutes last week didn't work. Like, you'd like to think that fucking coach will have picked up on that as well, and that he can't just fucking rest him and Barnett for long periods of time through the middle of the game and let their fucking nobody forwards get beat down. I imagine that has to change this week.
yeah, bang on. I'm with you. I was gobsmacked how they just threw away boys threw away the game
It
by
was
taking
bad
Barnett
coaching.
and Fish off. Yeah, it was terrible, and you have to
I
expect
mean,
a change.
it lost us the game. Well, like, we probably would have lost anyway, but like, it it was the thing that basically, it was almost like a give up at
Yeah,
that point. Like, we're not going to try and win the game. Like,
no, it was sad, and I do expect Fish to slowly grow into minutes. I think there might be a slow start to him, but if you have him, I'd be holding on. Like I honestly, if I find an excuse to do so, I actually wouldn't be opposed to buying him at some point in future, because that I think he will actually get big minutes as the season goes on,
yeah, I think
especially
so
when
too. Because
Warriors season gets put on the line. When they're losing games back to back, they'll keep him on longer when the coach gets desperate for wins.
when fucking shit's going down, fucking, and you're hot on defense, and you've got to have someone to fucking inspire the boys to turn it around in defense. Who the fuck would you fucking prefer to turn to than Fisher Harris for that?
What, you don't want to turn
No,
to Jackson Ford?
almost nobody in the fucking NRL. He is a defensive leader.
Oh, he was so good in this game. I do want to state that his PPM in this game was much higher than usual, And he did have a killer game. I think that's partly because of the Vegas pitch being smaller and it being round one where mids thrive. But I fully expect him to grow into big minutes and grow into big scores.
Yeah. No, there's not going to be any more of this Aaron Clark playing more minutes than Fish bullshit.
Again, Jackson Ford played more
Fucking
minutes
better
than
not be
Fish.
anyway.
That was fucking funny.
Jackson Ford, Walker, and fucking Aaron Clark all played more minutes than Fish. That's fucked. That can't happen again. That's bullshit.
Oh,
Yeah.
man, I don't know what's going on with Webster. He was a really good coach when he first got there, and I think he's just making some interesting decisions.
Or did SJ just carry the team to a third place finish and fucking Webster was just there for the ride?
Maybe. I guess we'll see this year.
Yeah, big year for
What?
Webster.
Well, if he has a really bad year, that's probably his job done.
Oh, I fully agree.
It's
Just
the NRL. You don't get to have two fucking bottom of the table-ish finishes in a row and get to keep your job anymore. Not without some sort of track record behind you.
just on the other player in here that we've touched on loosely, Mitchell Barnett. If you own him, are you selling him?
Yeah, because he's 100k more than Fish. So you really need him to play big minutes. And his price is going backwards, whereas Fish is going a little bit forward. So that's a bit of a different situation. I think it was a mistake to pick him.
Yeah, I'm with you
TK,
entirely.
Yeah, well, him down to Horse saves you 100k, and Horse will outscore him easily, I'd say, at this current
Yeah.
situation.
I'd be happy to make that trade.
I think that'd be an excellent trade.
So
I
there
do
you go,
feel for
TK.
Mitch,
There's a trade idea for you this week, Chef.
I do feel for Mitch Barnett owners. Was in the late mail, Mitch Barnett got moved to lock, and given the state of the bench, there was good reason to presume that Mitch Barnett was going to get good minutes in the 60 range at starting lock. At least I thought so. So I do feel for Barnett owners, but I would be jumping the fuck off right now.
Yeah. I think last year is as good as it's going to get for Mitchell Barnett.
Yeah, agreed. Too many players injured, and this year they've got a few players back, and he's just not required. But yeah, that'll do the Warriors. Now we've got two cheapy halves battling each other. Sandon won the battle by 15 points last week, but when they play each other, I don't know if Sandon Smith is going to outscore Jack Cole when the Panthers are trying to run a train on those halves.
I
This is
could
going to be
see
a bad game of
Sandon.
football.
I could see I could see Sandon having a poor game in this one. He does because he doesn't get a lot of kick meters at all. And I don't think he's going to carve up with ball in hand against fucking Penrith defence. I think they're probably going to get a fucking hiding. So I don't think he's going to be kicking that many goals. I don't think he's going to get a try. I just struggle to see where the points are going to come for Sandon this week. And I've got him at 21st man this week. Obviously,
Yeah,
he's like a whole.
I think he's going to
He's
knock out
doing
like a 22 on the dot and just
I think
not.
so too.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he got a try and a try saver to really save his score last week. Like, he's going to get absolutely ran at by a good train of blokes. Stay the fuck away. Don't play him. Would you guys be willing to play Cole?
Yeah, I think Cole's pretty good. If you've got a couple of Storm guys to loop him on the bye, I think that's pretty solid.
I'd like to think that most good teams have an emergency player that would be a better play than Cole, but I wouldn't be stressed if I had to play Cole.
No, I'm with you. I'm
But
kind of going to step in a loop with Hubner, which isn't exactly the most inspiring combination of players to loop, but
that's all
we
right.
do what we can.
If you had to just flat out choose one, I'd probably choose Hubner out of those two, though.
Yeah, Hubner got good minutes, and in the middle, one would hope he scores better.
Yeah, because keep in mind, Cole only gets like 1 or 2 points out of kick meters, like literally.
Cleary got so many last week. He's going to be like Fogarty
Well,
this year.
Didn't
Just
Cole
with
get like 45 kick meters or something?
it was not much.
It
Yeah,
was
I think it
21.
was like.
It
Oh, was
wasn't
it?
even a point.
Was
It
it
wasn't
0
even a
points?
point. It was 0 points
I
a
thought it was
kick
40.
meter.
Okay, okay.
Oh my god, that's depressing.
Yeah, I'd go Hubner.
I think I'm going to loop him just because I can, but
Oh yeah,
yeah.
always do the loop. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, for sure.
My god, that's depressing. Actually, I might loop Narwa instead of Cole. I think that might be a better move now. Looking at that.
Yeah, do that for sure. But there's not a lot changed for this team except for the correct people coming back to their correct spots. Brian To'o's back in, and so you don't have Paul Almotti playing on the wing. He's playing in the centre. Garner's still there, but he's on the bench. I think that's pretty much the side we should expect for them most of the time, except probably you add Liam Henry into there over Matt Eisenhuth. Yeah, Henry's probably next
That could
week.
happen. That could happen this week potentially. He is on the extended bench.
Yep, I reckon so too. But
While we're talking about the Panthers, sure, everyone, we talk about the gun himself, Nathan Cleary. Is everyone captaining him, or are we captaining other players? What's everyone's current vibe?
Yeah, I'm captaining him. I think this is a pretty good matchup for him. I wouldn't talk anyone out of captaining Haas or Terrell May, but yeah, I know for me, I'm just going to go with Cleary in this one. If it was a
I-
harder matchup, I would have had a throw at the stumps with May, but no, I think Cleary's a good way to go in this one, personally.
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm like that. I don't think you should be captaining Yo in this game. I think Yo will do a decent score, but I don't think he's going to get a big score given that this should be pretty one-sided, given how the Broncos game against the Roosters went.
Yeah,
I
and Yeo's points don't largely come from attacking stats. Like he's not a big try scorer. He's not a massive tackle buster or offloader. One of his biggest things is tackle counts, and giving teams thumpings doesn't help with that.
Yeah.
nah, I agree. I think Clear is also very, very close to turning that 55 into like a 70 when one or two plays just very narrowly not tries. But yeah.
On to the Roosters.
That's pretty much all the Panthers. You have Cleary, you have Yo, and you're happy about it. And Cole, the end. But yeah, the two Roosters centers themselves, the cheap guys, they did all right last week. How good did Toya look? Especially, he's so strong.
Yeah, he's a nuggety bugger. I played both of them last week, and I was happy with both of them. Obviously, Toya was by far the better of the two, but in a game where it's ridiculous getting fucking an actual centre getting 60s with no try in a game where his team gets pumped by 50 points. Like, that's nuts.
And Toya is a weapon. I really am excited to see how he's going to go this year as a whole. I don't see him losing his spot anytime soon with how well he played. He looks like a real threat. He looks really solid in defense. Like, if you don't have him in your team, one, what the fuck are you doing? And two, get him the fuck in.
Yeah, which
Yeah,
side
it's
does Billy
ridiculous.
Smith usually play as well? Billy Smith usually plays left, right?
He usually plays whatever side's available at the time because he's never held down a consistent jersey. So a lot of the time when he was playing, like if Money was out, he'd play right centre. If the other guy was out, he'd play left centre. But I don't think he's short of a spot.
Yeah, he's into
Like,
the reserves this week. So if one of them, well, I'd say if Nala has a dud game, he's a shout to come in. But I'd say after that first game, Toya's going to be given a rein for a few weeks to see how he goes.
Yeah.
and Nawa was pretty good in the first game himself. 35. I'm very happy to take for a 350k player. Take a 35 from again an actual centre in a game they got thumped by 50. That's pretty good.
He
He
actually
played well. He
updated.
looked.
He's on 30. He's got the 37 in the end, which is even better.
Oh, see that's solid. That's making money. But his defense wasn't too bad. He looked dangerous with the ball. Good offloader. Like. He's got big upside. He's an up and coming player. Billy Smith is not an up and coming player. He is a very injury-prone player that's never really managed to piece together a career so far. I don't think, and Billy Smith's been around for a while, but actual NRL game-wise experience, he's not fucking that much more experienced than a rookie, to be fair. He's played like a season's worth of games over his whole career,
I
literally.
don't know. I think I do think Roosters have a soft spot for Billy Smith, given how much they've really stood by him. I do think Noah played well, especially with ball in hand on the weekend. On the weekend, it's just been. I do think he made some defensive lapses. Nothing, too extraneous, and especially in a team that was so red hot as the Broncos were. But I don't see it as an impossibility that Noah does at some point get dropped for Billy Smith.
Oh, no, it's not an
I,
impossibility. I didn't say that.
No. I'm just saying. I think Toya is a red hot buy. If you don't have Toya, you buy him. If you don't have Nawa, I wouldn't be buying him. Is what I'd say. Nawa's a great hold if you start with him, but you definitely would not be going anywhere to buy him. Is my thought.
No, yeah, honestly, if anyone that didn't start with Toya, I'd just consider to not really be a proper fantasy player.
Yeah, well, you got a 50 reserve grade average like Ira last year, and you started with a 60. Like, it's just what you're doing.
Yeah. I mean, apologies to any of fucking our listeners that didn't start with Toya, but I've never been a podcaster that's all about the casuals.
Get
So
better coming
just
back next year.
get better or fucking get out.
We'll move on to some of the middles now. There was a bit more variety in who owned and who didn't. Yeah.
Connor Watson's still a massive buy, obviously.
Yep. And well, the thing is, Nat Butcher's still not there, and all that we know is it's an outside of footy injury, and we still don't really have a timeline. But yeah,
It's
no
a finger
Victor
injury of
Radley.
some sort.
Right. Okay.
Well,
But no,
I think
no
he's going to
further
play
details.
65. I think he's going to play 65 plus minutes every week. I don't think Zach Docker-Clay demands anything. Zach Docker-Clay is the sort of player. Docker-Clay is the sort of player that you can have sitting on the pine for 80 minutes, and you're not going to he doesn't even get to complain about it. Like, he's just lucky to be involved,
Yeah. Watson, I think, needs probably 70 to be making money from his price, but for the next couple of weeks, I really do see Watson getting 80 with no Radley, no Butcher, all that. Like, look at their forwards. You've got Eddy playing lock, and then you've got Makatoa, Steep, Losalu, and Docker. It's a pretty ordinary looking interchange.
It's a depressing lack of depth in their forward pack. I'm not sure if you've seen the news that came out today. Apparently, them considering trying to buy out JWH's current contract to bring him back early. Like, the Roosters forward pack.
I don't think they should do that.
No, they absolutely should not. But this forward pack's in dire straits.
That's desperation, eh?
Well, have you seen their bench? They're in a desperate time. Like, I feel bad.
Yeah, but by the time James Fisher-Harris would have not James Fisher-Harris, JWH even got there, they'd have groups back and they wouldn't even need him anymore.
That's it. Well, Nat Butcher should be back at some point, we imagine. Radley should be back, which will help this out a lot. Like, yeah.
Where's Egan Butcher at?
I presume he's also injured.
I think he's just about to be fit. He was sort of racing the clock for round one in kind of part of the preseason, so I think we'll see him in the next couple of weeks.
But yeah, in regards to Watson, though, even when they're fully fit, I really don't think Zach Docker-Clay is that big of a fucking of an issue.
Egan Butcher is TBC on casualty ward with a knee injury. Apparently, I don't know anything further than that. While we're talking about the forward pack and the minutes and who should be benefiting from this, White should be benefiting from this, and I'm still disappointed to see that he didn't get more minutes last weekend, especially with the injuries with Radley going down. Like, if you have White, you should definitely be holding, but you should definitely not be buying White. Wong, on the other hand, I wouldn't actually talk anyone out of buying Wong.
Yeah.
Oh, he didn't do that well, did he?
I reckon. Look, with Nat Butcher only being a finger injury and Radley going to be back soon, I reckon that could really hurt you in a fortnight or so. But if he did manage to hold that lock spot, yeah, that'd be pretty good. But he'll score well
We
for a
think
couple of weeks.
Well, I don't think Nat Butcher is coming back that soon. So you're going to have a week where Wong scores at an edge, where he's going to play 65 to 70 minutes or so, where he's currently priced at 27 with a 19 BE. At edge, he generally scores about 40. I don't
No, you
imagine
need
Nat
to start with him. You
I,
needed to
I,
start with him.
I think he's actually a really good short-term cash cow.
No, you needed to start with him last week. If you didn't want him last week, why do you want him now?
Because there's more injuries.
No, I wouldn't buy him.
If he was 300k flat, I'd probably look at him. But yeah, he's already 350. I don't want to add another guy that's not a real money enabler into my team at this stage.
Yeah. I think there's more holds in the Roosters pack than buys. I don't think anyone in the Roosters pack is a buy. White's definitely a hold if you've got him, but obviously you wouldn't be rushing out to get White either. When players are injured in Roosters, rather than like one player fucking really benefiting, it seems to alter around a bit. Like either the minutes will just get shared out sort of evenly, or else some guy will get some minutes one week and then it's another guy's turn to get bigger minutes next week. Trent doesn't fucking doesn't do sort of standardized minute rotations. We learnt that fucking last year.
Yeah, well, with Terrell May, you have Terrell May being the standard he was. And I seriously reckon there was more going on behind the scenes, and he must have been annoyed with Terrell whinging for more minutes or something, because, like, there's no way that he should have been up and down that much. But,
I think he
yeah.
might have been in that sort of immature crew along with like fucking Cheese. Like I think that was like his little posse.
Yeah,
So
possibly.
I think that's probably why he found his way out of the club.
Possibly.
If the Roosters wanted May to be there, he'd be there.
Oh, and
They could have paid him.
he would be good too. But yeah, now that he's at the Tigers, he's going to be an absolute weapon for fantasy. So, I mean, that's pretty much the Roosters. There's not really any screaming buys coming out from them, unless for some reason you didn't start with the obvious ones. So, should move on to Dragons and Rabbits.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Dragons side, we had poor old Ryan Couchman blow his ACL, so the other twin, Toby,
Beluga.
probably like benefits from that. Yeah. Beluga suffered the wrath of 0 points from Ryan Couchman.
I don't think anyone benefits from it from the starting lineup. When an interchange player went down, and he'll be replaced by another interchange player. It's not like they're going to a 3-man bench now because of it.
No,
it impacted him last week because it was in the game, but this week I don't think it affects Toby at all.
Possibly. I was interested to see. No, he's not there. That's interesting. I wonder if he's named in Cup.
But whoever comes in just takes Ryan Couchman's role.
Right, the thing is, the estimation was that Ryan Couchman's role was a 30 to 35 minute role, which
so the new guy will just get that. Like, it's a regular bench spot.
Yeah, but Hamish Stewart is not a bad player with a decent PPM. Like, you could do worse. There is money to be made there. Is it worth the trade? No. But yeah.
I'd be really worried about Eisenhuth or Clemmer coming and taking his spot.
I think that's the big issue. Is Clemmer's still to come? And I think everyone's expecting.
He's gonna be joining the 17. They're not. Yeah. They wouldn't have bothered otherwise.
Yeah, and it has to be the cheapy dickhead who's in 17, Hamish Stewart, who's going to fall out.
Yeah, and Sele as well is pretty much almost back. So there will be replacements, I guess. But one thing that did pop out to me was I was really expecting the Cook and Little combination to play more minutes in total.
Certainly expected Little to play more minutes. Fucking hell.
He was electric on the weekend.
Little needs to be spending way more minutes. He needs to be getting in, taking serious minutes at 13. It's the only way it can work. Otherwise, they have to let Little leave. Because playing him for like fucking, was it, how many minutes was that? Was it under 30?
No, it wasn't that low.
It was close. Little.
Oh shit! It was. It was 26 minutes.
55
Yeah,
and
I thought,
26 minutes. He just carved. He came on and was amazing.
Yeah,
and
that much game impact.
It's honestly just disrespectful. Didn't he won the Player of the Year last year, and then round one, the very next game, they give him 26 minutes. That's disrespectful.
But he had so much impact on there. There's nowhere in the hell I believe he plays 26 minutes. That's fucking wild. He was
It's
so
disrespectful.
good. It is fucking man. They should be playing big minutes at lock.
Honestly, like if I was the Player of the Year, and then the very following next game, I was only given 26 minutes, I just would have said to the coaches, like, fuck, what have I got to fucking do to fucking get a fucking decent spot? Like, I've done everything I possibly could have, and you're treating me like shit. Fuck you. Let me go to another club. Either give me more minutes or fucking let me go. I can go play 80 minutes at the South.
Yeah. If Riley Smith wasn't looking pretty solid, I would have just said Little go to the Eels and be done with it.
Yeah. No, they got to fucking show him some fucking respect.
Yep.
He's earned it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Cook playing that's way too many that's way too low minutes for Cook as well. Like they needed to have like what were they planning to do all through the preseason? Like have they just not figured out how they want to use those two? That's obviously the case. It's like the coach has about as much idea as he wants to do with his forwards as fucking old mate does at the Eels. Fuck all.
Yeah. And it wasn't even just letting them play alongside each other on the field. Cook actually came off a little at the 54th minute, and then just Cook came on for like 5 or 6 at the end. So I really think they need to massively change that structure if they want to win games and actually use Little effectively. But in that game, it did.
Little has to play 30 minutes at lock, and then 20 minutes at hooker.
Yep. It just makes sense. It just makes sense. Like, why wouldn't it? That's it.
What other way would work?
I wouldn't try any other way, to be honest. Like you give DeBellin 50, you give Little 30, and you give Little 20 from Cook, and be done with it. It's easy, it's simple, reduces rotations, and you're done.
Well, then you're playing Cook for 60 minutes.
Yep. Like when you've got Cook and Little in the same 17, like it's difficult to play Cook for 80 minutes without fucking making the rotations really awkward or fucking over Little.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I think that they looked really good when Little was on. I think they looked really rejuvenated, and fuck, Little's such a good player, man. He's really stepped up.
He's the fucking Player of the Year, literally, #1 Player of the Year, and then you just shit on him. That's sad, man.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it's like the Warriors. I doubt the rotation is going to be the same this week. Worked out well for Couchman, who managed to get 58 for Jay-Z, and Holmes had a good one. We thought, be interesting to see how he goes from the Cows. But yeah, don't buy Holmes after that. That's called an overreaction.
Yeah, don't buy Couchman either. Like he's not going to keep getting minutes that massive. Like if you started with him, I think he's going to work out all right. But now it's a trade to bring him in, and I just don't think that's the play. I don't think he's got enough money in him to make it worth it.
I'm a little higher on him. I think his ceiling is probably like what we expect Gilbert to do in value, but the worst case is lower than that, so I would be rushing out to get him.
Yeah. No. I think he's just one that would have been good if you started with him, but that's fine.
Good stuff.
And I don't know, fuck the rest of the Dragons.
Pretty
I don't
much.
think there's any relevant.
Yeah, well, there is one mega screaming super buy as long as he keeps that 7 jersey, which he has. There's a little bit of whispers that Dodd's hurt himself, and that's why he's in the reserves. But I mean, with Humphreys 7 with Dodd there, I'm very, very keen. How do you not buy somebody who's just been absolutely he hasn't knocked the door down. He hasn't trained the house down. He's knocked the entire street down and scored 75, kicking he did every single thing right.
Who's their best player? He was easily their best player. I don't see why you would drop him. He had a good kicking game. He was defensively excellent. Seems like and Dodd did nothing in the preseason. I just don't see why he wouldn't get dropped. I noted I listened to the amateurs the other day, and fuck, they're full of shit. Fucking Jessup coming up with that fucking narrative. Oh, there's an argument to be made that Shibasaki could be a better value buy. Fuck up, cunt. Fucking, that's just fucking trying to be contrary. It's just ridiculous. Like there's no good argument. I think deep down Jessup knows that he's a buy, and I bet fucking he ends up buying him. So don't be fooled by that sort of talk. He's got a -6 break even. He's got massive base. He's going to come out and make like fucking 50k, fucking maybe even more this week, and then do it all again the following week. He's going to make 100 grand in the next bloody 2 weeks. Like, you just do it.
You know what Humphrey's base was last week? 58.
Yeah,
he had
that's
700
nuts.
kick meters, 30 tackles, and 40 meters gained. You buy somebody that is doing that. Yeah. I
He's
mean,
got the fogarty role.
Shibasaki could be all right, but there's no way he's as good as Humphreys.
No, it's just fucking bullshit. And what, Shibasaki gonna just go get a fucking big score every week from the centres, even though he's never been that good before? Nah, get out of here.
Yeah.
I think fucking they were just fucking saying that to make fucking spicy conversation topics. Oh, there's an argument that if anyone starts with fucking saying a sentence like that, you can all immediately tune out, because when someone starts a sentence like that, what they're saying is, oh, here's a hypothetical situation I don't really believe in. And if that's the case, then why are you saying it? Like, no, just get him. If you don't get him, you're an idiot like the people that didn't get him. Like, you can't be missing out on this sort of stuff. It just loses your fantasy. Simple as that.
Path to Humphreys for me this week, and I'll probably leave it at that. And that looks like a very, very solid trade.
And let's just be very fucking clear here. There's no play where you give Metcalf another week, and if it doesn't work out, get Humphreys next week. That's not what you do, because if that happens, if Metcalf gets a 30, he goes down another 10k, and Humphreys goes up 50. Like, you're just losing 60k just like that for nothing, as well as getting less point. You're just a fool if you don't do it, I think. Do you agree with that?
I think it's that simple. Humphreys, put him in your team. You figure out a way to get him in your team. You can't be missing this. Like, I don't think he's going to score 75 every fucking week, but he's going to do a lot of the fucking kicking. He looks like a really strong fucking player. He's got goal kicking. You don't turn down cheap halves that play this well and look like a natural 7, which is what Metcalf sure as shit didn't do in the game in Vegas.
Well, I reckon he's going to make 200k, and I reckon he's going to make it fast.
Yep, at least. Now, I forgot to add goals to his base, actually. So technically, if you add goals, that's 62 in just those non-attacking stats, which is it's humongous. If he holds that role all year, and he gets, let's say mid-40s base because he's tackling a lot and kicking a lot, he could end up being like a 50-plus average guy.
It's possible, but fucking even if he just rockets his way up to 600k, like fucking, and that only takes like fucking 5 weeks, like that's good fast money. Fucking, we're getting good points along the way. I just can't see why you wouldn't, unless you're just trying
Yeah.
to be clever, but being a dumbass instead.
Yeah, look, we can't overreact too much to round one, but the boxes are all being ticked, and I think you just go the place where the boxes are being ticked and you don't make it complicated.
No, he's going to get 100k in 2 weeks alone.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of people in the Souths team that are not names that I have in my brain register. Bailey Bentley, Hape on the wing. I've seen Fletcher Myers before, but man, Souths need some troops back.
Oh yeah, they do. Poor cunts.
Yeah.
They must be used to playing with fucking heaps of injured players by now.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, all the people who we told not to get Munro because Souths wouldn't let him score tries. They let him score tries, but then he broke his collarbone again. That's the third or fourth time he's done that. Poor bloke. I wonder if he's got like something wrong with his tackle technique or something, because that's a really nasty injury to have like that many times.
I think he's breaking bones, but obviously they needed to drink a bit more milk in his household, eh?
Needs to move to Canberra.
Mate, they need to put him straight onto a cow's tit, mate. Straight from the source, get it in you. Strengthen those bones up with a bit of calcium, son.
Oh, mate, seriously, what is going on at South? So if every cunt that goes there is getting injured, like fucking hell.
I remember during the preseason, Ham saying, "Oh no, it's the South. This is a top 4 team. Have you seen our roster? Have you seen all the players coming back from injury?" Next minute, it's just exactly the same as it was in 2024.
Yeah,
But you know what I was fucking laughing at? I was laughing when all the rumors were that Jay Brayley was going to go to the fucking South team. Literally one of the most fragile players in the entire league, going to the club that keeps making sure that every player gets injured immediately. That would have just been a recipe for disaster.
Outside of that, though, fucking, it would have made sense as a signing. They are one of the clubs that could do with a quality hooker the most.
Hmm.
Maybe not the most, but up there. Them or the Eels or Cowboys next year.
Cowboys are in dire need of a hooker next year.
But didn't he just? He just signed with the Raiders for next year? Is that right?
Yeah, he did. I think that's an
Which
interesting
is
signing.
weird. Fuck that. They don't rate. They obviously have never really rated Starling there.
They fucking hate his guts. I
Well,
can't tell you why.
Well, his service isn't the best, and I suppose that when it comes down to it, that is a pretty important part of being a hooker. Is that his passing games, it's quite poor for a hooker.
That makes more sense to my reason. I presume Starling has slept with Ricky's wife.
He's getting the
No,
horse treatment.
he doesn't have a great pass, and it's really not acceptable for a hooker to have a good side. They should really both be. They should really both be good.
Yeah.
When you're a hooker in the NRL, like you shouldn't have a bad side, and he does.
Yeah. I don't think he's that bad. I really rate Starling. I think he's a good player.
He sucks at passing to the right, which is pretty inexcusable.
We'll just have to put him on the. We'll just have to make sure the playable are on the wing.
Just for the black book for next year, Jaden Brayley is almost certainly going to be a pretty good buy, given he's going to tank his price this year by playing off the bench. Just one for next year.
You'd have to imagine so.
Just one for next year.
Absolutely.
So I wonder if Starling will end up at the Cowboys.
Imagine he's going somewhere.
I think there's going to be. I think he's going to be getting before the year's over. He's going to be getting shopped around.
I think so too. Starling. Well, he sort of dined with Rabbitohs, but then nothing happened. So who knows? I'd say it's Cows at this point, but he won't be the one getting screwed over. Well, he will be the one getting screwed over in this team. And
he's getting screwed over.
Yeah,
I think he's the only person getting screwed
I'm trying to look at the Souths game, and then trying to talk about Tom Starling. It's not working. But yeah, the guy that did get screwed over.
We got sidetracked there.
The guy that did get screwed over was Davy Moale. We thought, oh, here we go. Injuries, stepping up. It happened again. 30 minutes, 14 points. Get him out of your team. by Metcalf, not by Metcalf, by Humphreys or something. And Duncan did end up getting solid minutes as a result. So Duncan got 57 minutes, 44 points. Solid for anybody who had him, but yeah, I'd prefer him starting much, much more. And with troops to come back, just hold for now, but don't buy.
Just on Moali, if you start with Moali, you are asking for it. He's one of those players that we have a reason for, where he's burnt you before, so you don't buy him again.
He did appear like he was a player on the rise, and I had that narrative about like he was supposed to be Wayne's little pet because Wayne went out of his way to debut him at 18, which he never does with middles. But that narrative's dead.
He's been a player on the rise for the last 4 years.
He's a helium balloon.
With the state of the South Pack, I did think that he was in line.
I did think he'd get more than 30 minutes. I thought he'd get more than 30.
I thought he'd get 40. I thought he'd get at least 45. But yeah, if you've got him, abort.
Oh, don't just abort. Yeet him to the fucking sun.
Jamie Brown's got him.
I know.
Yeah, ouch. I think that's an easy pathway to Humphreys this week. Or like a horse if you don't have it, plus a bit of cash.
Yeah, I imagine Jamie will have already traded him out.
Second lockout
waiting for lockout. But yeah. We probably better get through the rest of these games. The second Saturday game, we got Sharks and the Cows. I think that'll be entertaining. I think there'll be a lot of points scored. And Peyton wants some defence because he's dropped Nanai down to the reserves and said basically that, yeah, he's got good attack, but we want him to work on his defence in Cup for a week. So he's given him a bit of a slap. I'd say he'll be there back again in a week or two, but Kai O'Donnell in 12 and Jake Clifford in 18 still, Lolo still in the reserves. So what did you make of the Cows?
I think this is just a fucking classic, good old fucking fashion boot up the ass wake up call. I think it's only going to last a week or two, so I think Kai is going to be a massive trap. Unless you tin ass it and that fucking he gets 2 weeks. Well, Nanai's buddy in the shadow realm for a couple of weeks, and then Bateman gets injured, fucking, and then you tin ass your way to a longer role. But apart from that, I think he's a trap. And interesting note, Beluga is looking at bringing in him. And so the only one that I know that's looking to bring him in was the official shit cunt of the week. So make of that what you will.
We'll have to stop reaming him so hard at some point because we've done a fair share of that during preseason. But yeah, I would consolidate. I wouldn't try and go too hectic with that far out.
Yeah, it's asking for trouble. Like if you're fucking around selling fucking cheapies to other cheapies that have very sketchy job security, like you're just burning your trades up and you're gonna regret it.
Yeah. The only buy in this team is Bateman. If you for some reason have enough money to get Bateman, he's a good buy. The rest are either wait until their prices drop further, like Drinkwater, who put down a low score and will get cheap at some point this year. And if you hold, you hold Purdue. Because Purdue put up a stinker of a score, but if you own him, you just ride it. He'll come good at some point when he gets a try.
I don't know if he will come good. I don't know if he will come good. Like I said last week, I don't think he's built for being a fantasy centre. He's a little half. He's not going to ever make big run meters that much. He's not going to make that. He's not going to make that many tackle busts and stuff. I just think he's the wrong kind of centre. I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't talk you out of pivoting to someone else. Not Kai O'Donnell though.
Kai O'Donnell. No, I think if he's your biggest fire, get rid of him. But I think you can hold him. Like he's going to get a try at some point.
Bury him in 20th or 21st position though. Don't bring him out of there ever.
Do not be fucking playing.
There was a reason I didn't buy him last week, and it's because I thought this would be the sort of player he'd be. Actually, he'll get stat lines where he makes 10 tackles, misses 3, makes like 70 meters, fucking 1 or 2 tackle busts, and that's it. And it's just hard for a player like him to clock up a lot of points.
Yeah, I want to take it back. Sell him. I've just looked at Cowboys' schedule. He's going to get fucked for the next 4 weeks, and then he's going to get dropped out of the team. They've got
And
Cronulla,
his team sucks.
fucking Broncos, Canberra, and Penrith as his next 4 games. Purdue's going to be putting up teen scores for the entire time, and they get dropped for Laybut. Get Purdue out of your team and bring in one of the cheapy cashies.
Yeah, well, surely fucking in most teams that own him, he'd be one of your most tradable assets. So you want to take advantage of moneymakers while you can, and I don't see him making a lot of money anytime soon. Unless you fucking hold him for like fucking 12 rounds, hoping he somehow makes 100K like Metcalf before. He's just not. I don't think he's going to be a good fantasy scorer, and he's off on the wrong foot. Bad draw. I just can't see how it works out great.
Speaking of successful cashies in the Cowboys team, Duffy, who I missed on the first pass through. If you own him, fucking love it. Are you calling him a buy?
Yep, I'd go Purdue to him happily.
I mean,
I think
he had 1 goal, he had 0 tackle busts, and he still managed 39 at base price. That's good.
Yeah.
Well, what are your concerns about job security given Clifford's returning and the amount of shit that Payton's currently getting himself into?
Returning to reserve grade, I think. Clifford's not sort of some returning gun savior.
I'm not saying that at all. I'm very clear. I think Duffy's a buy. I'm just, curious to know your thoughts.
I think he lasts a lot longer than Purdue will if one of them does get dropped. I think he's going to be given more rope.
Purdue going to Labour. Yeah, old Gaybert could easily come and take Purdue's spot anytime.
Yeah, I think Laybut's better compared to Purdue when you compare Clifford to Duffy. There's a bigger gap between Laybut and Purdue than there is between Clifford and Duffy. I thought Duffy actually played really well on the weekend in what was a really well-beaten side.
Yeah, I don't see why they're going to drop their future for no apparent reason. Clifford's not the future. I think they know that. I think Payton knows that, and I doubt Payton's not a complete. I don't think Payton will see bringing Clifford in as the way to save his job. And if he does think that, he's going to be sadly mistaken.
I think Payton's really on thin ice.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, apparently the other day there was like a group of like 50 protesters fucking out there calling for his head.
Yeah,
no. That's pretty extreme.
That's why he put Nano in the reserves this week, just to say he's doing something.
Yeah. Like, I'm not talking about people talking online. I'm talking about like 50 motherfuckers down there with fucking actual signs and shit. Like, that sort of shit doesn't happen very often, man.
And I had my money on Adam O'Brien being fired first, but I don't see Payton making it very long, especially with that draw that we just mentioned. I fully expect by end of round 5, the Cowboys will be 0-5.
I think he's done a shit job while he's been there anyway.
Oh, yeah, they had one good year where they really performed in 2022 was it, or 2021, where they came third or so. But first, with a team with this many Origin stars, they should be making the 8. No concerns at all.
Don't they have like 7 Origin players or some shit?
Yeah, I think 6 is the number.
Lot. Well, they got Cotton, Nanai, Robson half the time. Used to have Gilbert, but not anymore. They had Holmes, but not anymore. Taulagi. That's a lot.
Dearden,
yeah.
Although Dearden might not play this year, but he did last year.
Well, they have Origin quality guys. Is the real point we're making.
Yep.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think that's enough about cows, isn't it? But fucking.
It is.
Buy Bateman if you for some reason have enough money to buy Bateman.
Yep.
Just sell Purdue.
One thing I do want to point out before we move on, though, is you mentioned a little name called Zach Gaybut, Eddy.
Yeah, man.
If you click on my live, I do have another section from our resident expert on that topic, B. So if you click on
what a segue, skanky boy.
I will play that now if you want to join that.
Yeah, mate.
All right, here we go.
Kia ora, fellas. Bit fucking confused with all the TLTs going on, but that's alright. Speaking of being confused, for all of our listeners out there, I live in America, and now that Vegas round's over, you cannot even begin to understand how confused I was that the Echo Chamber boys wanted me back on. Anyways, that's their mistake. Welcome back, everyone, to B's Sexy Samoans. DJ, play the track. First up, ladies and gentlemen, we got a young fella from the Cabramatta 2 Blues Junior Rugby Club. He's a tall glass of water that I'd like to have a couple drinks of. Stefano Itoi Kamanu. Fuck, he's got a good moustache, doesn't he, boys? Homework for everyone this week is to print out a photo of Stefano and put it on your wall. Thank me later. Anyways, finally, we got a real treat for you, ladies and gentlemen. This young lad is actually a dual international. He's a sexy Samoan and a tasty Tongan. This sweet fella's from the Red Bank Plains Bears Junior Rugby Club. He's got an absolute engine on him, and I wouldn't mind going the full 80 minutes with him, if you know what I mean. Kulikefu Finifuyaki. Well done to all the Samoan bros who played this round, and let's continue praying for our fucking fantasy teams, eh? Stay safe and stay sexy, everybody.
There you go.
Dear, oh dear, fucking, isn't that bloody boy? Isn't it, Warren? I'm starting to I'm starting to wonder, like, is this one of those things where, like, it's just trying to pass it off as a joke, but it's only sort of like half joking? You know, like how in those weird American fraternities, how like they fucking bank each other and shit for initiations as some big joke, but like, really, maybe they just like touching up the dude's asses. I don't know.
Well,
Hey,
if
what
he's
do
in
you guys
America,
think?
maybe that's what he's up to.
Yeah, he's pledging. Yeah.
I heard he had to move to the US because half the NRL players got restraining orders against him for the entirety of the
Was he a
country.
sex offender? I didn't know that.
Unconfirmed, mate. Unconfirmed.
Were you involved in the court? Were you involved in the court case?
I was prosecuting him. No, I was getting him out of here.
Chased him out of the country. Yeah, he did fucking. He had to skip the country.
I hear he has a shrine of Toto in his house with a locket of his hair. So take that with what you will.
Yeah, he took a selfie and he just pinched one. It's just good
what a
stuff.
bender.
Moving on from
you say
on
what
from
a bender?
Yeah,
just self-induced benders. Dear. Well, there you go. We've got a couple of guys we might talk about in the next few iterations of that in this Sharks team, but we do have a pretty similar looking Sharks team. I think that's pretty much 1-17 what it was last week, hey?
It is. I'm still disappointed that we're playing Atkinson at 14. I don't think that's the best way the Sharks bench works. I think we're trying to emulate Melbourne Storm a little bit too much, but this team, I would be very disappointed if we don't tear Cowboys to shreds here.
Yep.
Oh, you'd be extremely disappointed.
Mm.
There's no buys in this team. If you thought you were like trying to be cute and running Nico Hines as a pod, you can go ahead and fucking pull the pin on that experiment.
Yeah, it wasn't a good look with Trindle kicking goals and all that. It just wasn't a dominant ball hogging points making situation.
Yeah. And mighty mongrel dog Sieg Wilton, he was an alright pod pick if you picked him in round one, but he's not a buy anymore. He's definitely a hold, but I don't really think there's any buys in this team, is there?
No,
There's not a single buy.
Me.
It's just a bunch of holds.
Yeah, Cam McInnes did okay.
And
Some pods are
being
talking him up, but you're not buying him.
Nah, but out of everyone in that first, like that expensive, is that the guy you want to go for? Nah.
No.
The one thing I do want to say is just one to keep an eye on, because I will be likely jumping on at some point if he continues to fuck his price this way, is Ronaldo Mulitalo put up a 16 last week. If he doesn't score a try this week and puts up another low score, he will drop money quite quickly. So just one to keep an eye on. I think we'll definitely touch on him next week if he's continued to fall. But I think he could be an interesting.
Always keep an eye on every player that drastically loses money.
Yeah.
Players like him, you don't want to get them until you fucking see them fucking start to turn their shit around, though, because they can stay shit for long periods of time.
Mulatalo always has this in a year where he drops really low and then goes on a big tear.
Yeah.
So just one to definitely keep it in the back of the mind. Other than that, I don't think there's anything relevant to discuss in the Sharks team.
No, I'm just
Unless
looking
if
at the
you bought
last.
Kennedy, you're a genius.
Yeah, the last time he started shooting down in price was when he also played the Panthers last year, scored an 11, and he continued to drop his price from mid 500s to mid 400s. So, yeah, that's about it, really.
Yeah, let's move on.
Let's go to the last Saturday game, and we got the very exciting Raiders versus to be honest, absolutely scintillating looking Broncos. This could be a really, really fun game. We've got Xavier Savage out, Hopper's on the other wing. Is that oh yeah, Savage has got that 1 game ban, so it gives Hopper another go inside. Nicholson is on the bench this week, and Sasagi. So what do we see? Where do we see them playing?
Well, I think it's fair to say Hosking won't be getting 80 minutes.
You fucking hope not, mate. I love Hosking, and damn, he was
There's 2 edges on the bench.
I just I couldn't tell you. You could name 4 inches on the bench, and fucking Sticky would still find a way to screw me over.
Yeah.
He can't play 80 minutes again, and surely he can't manage another 1 ppm Zach Hosking. But the man's a weapon.
He didn't play 80 minutes. He played 65 minutes.
Yeah. No, he didn't. He played 65 and got 1 ppm for 62 score, or just below 1 ppm.
He's a hold if you've got him, but I wouldn't buy him.
No.
Yeah. All I can say is that Horse is getting 60 points in 60 minutes this week, and we're going to enjoy it.
Yeah. Horse is a massive buy, enough said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This will be the game of the weekend, I reckon.
And if you don't have Tamale, he's a buy. Actually, out of interest, is Tamale in the same jersey he had last week, or is he in Savage's jersey?
Uh,
I'm pretty certain he's in the same jersey.
Sweet. So Hopper's in Savage's jersey, right?
I'm just double checking, but I'm pretty certain.
Yeah. I think so too. So that would mean, Tamale's a red hot buy. Like, you really should have got him last week. A lot of pussies might not have got him because they were too scared about him getting dropped. But time to correct that mistake. If you've got Purdue and you don't have Tamale, then if you can afford it, then definitely make that swap.
Sounds like a good one. But yeah, I don't think Hosking's a buy. Like, I mean, he could be, but it's not going to be like a raging 10-pointer buy, I think.
Well, there's so many alternatives that are probably better buys.
Yeah, just so you know, Tamale did get the same jersey.
Yeah, okay, sweet. So he's definitely got his spot then.
Yep. Fogg was good. Fogg did exactly what we thought. He's not a buy. He scores 55 until the end of time because of his kicking base. And yeah, that's about it. Enjoy Horse while Tarpanay's out.
If you start with Starling, you're laughing, don't buy him.
Yep, I agree with that.
All right. This Broncos side. How much fun did Ben Hunt look like he was having? He was having a blast.
He's wanted to get out of the Dragons for fucking quite a long time, eh?
Yeah.
About fucking 2 years he's wanted to be out of the Dragons. And now he's back home. Probably around his family and friends.
Yeah.
Loving it.
Loving it. Well, the first week picks of all the unusual fringe guys in Shiba, Gajewski, and co ended up working well.
Two nice cans.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm still not convinced that Gozzi's going to be a huge buy or anything like that, but it was encouraging. Piakura didn't do himself any favors by missing a tackle and then getting binned with the -9. His records for round one is absolutely atrocious.
He's lucky to still be in the team after that. But take away Gozzi's try and fucking he's just another fucking high 20s, just same old Gozzi.
13 tackles is a bit of a fucking joke. I don't know what
Yeah.
he did for 80 minutes, but he was there. He was definitely a player in the game.
Yeah, and don't go around thinking that Gozzi's gonna get like regular attacking stats. That ain't him.
Yeah. Shibasaki was pretty solid though. He got 50. But Cookie's been in my ear all week saying how good he is, and some others are saying, oh, he's a fantastic buy, but like he's going to have to play very
According to
well
Jess,
in order
he's
for
a
them not
better
to just.
buy than Humphreys.
Yeah, I think you have to be pretty confident that he's going to knock the lights out of this, so that he isn't replaced when Staggs comes back.
Oh, and now he's like 100K above base, so you got to pay money to get him. Fucking nah, I'd pass. Well, I'm not getting him.
Especially
Yeah.
He
with
hasn't
Toa
been
now
talked out
available.
of it, but
Yeah, I think
yeah.
so. Although, actually, this is probably the relevant bit of news. Taylor May's charges have all been dropped, so technically, Volandis has said he's free to sign with the club now, and I would not be surprised if he goes to play with his brother.
Yeah. So this is the one
Yeah,
concern I have
fucking.
about.
I don't know if he's going to be fucking getting rushed into teams anytime soon. Like, charges have been dropped, but that's more that. That doesn't mean he didn't do it, and I think he probably did do it. And he seems to make one poor decision after another. That guy, I think he's a very bad locker room person. I'm not sure that anyone's going to be rushing out to fucking bring him into their starting teams. Honestly,
I guarantee Tigers will. They're the kind of club that 100% would ignore the red flags and go all in. I do think there are concerns with Toa.
Terrell May might be able to talk them into it. But,
Yeah, I think
I'll worry about
Atoa's still a good buy though, because it's going to take weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks for him to get match fit though. So no way is it going to happen straight away. Toa's fine, but yeah, that's the news happening around Taylor May anyway.
I think that might have been more one of those the charges got dropped because the victim didn't want them sort of situations. Because that's the cash cow. I wouldn't be saying that he is innocent.
Yeah. Nearly forgot the absolute goat. Payne Haas looks astonishing. He came off because he'd done too well with 80 points in 50 minutes. That was what owners wanted to see. I'm a very happy Haas owner at the moment, despite my playing Metcalf and safe half. He's great.
God, I wish I had him. There's no real ways to get him because no real guns got injured. So unless you're sitting there with a stupid amount of money to spare. If you do have a stupid amount of money to spare, fucking go for it though. I've got mad FOMO. I'm going to struggle to watch Broncos games at the moment because of it, to be honest.
Yeah, I want to eat my words here because in the preseason I was pretty adamant that I thought would outperform Haas, given I had concerns about Haas's minutes. I'm going to say I was just outright wrong. Haas looks so fucking good in these short stints that Matt just got him running on, and he looked like he was going to play 60 minutes if the game had been close. Haas is definitely going to fucking go nuts this year. It's just about him staying fit. It's just about the things about Haas that I now realize compared to Yo is that Haas will score really well in games where the Broncos are still thrashing them, thrashing the opposition, which Yo might not do because Yo doesn't have the same attacking prowess.
Well, Yo can't go out and get 9 tackle busts and fucking 3 offloads and 2 line breaks. Yo can't do that. It's not in his skill set.
No, they're very different players. Again, there is no reason at all to go from Yo to Haas via trade. That is an absolute waste. I think Yo's an absolutely great buy, but I do think Haas is going to really kill it this year. And I think that if you've started with Haas, I think you're laughing a little bit with that 81.
Yeah, and you just got to suck it if you don't have them, because honestly, you don't trade guns when they're not injured or suspended.
Yeah, I've seen way too many
It's-
people in JBFA posting things of trading Yoda Haas. Don't do that. Like,
Yeah, well,
you can't.
99% of people in JBFA fucking are losers, bro. That's a fact. That's probably about it from the Broncos, I suppose, though, is it? Yeah.
Yeah,
Just
it's Haas and the cheapies pretty much. So have them or you don't, and you're pretty happy with it.
and just make sure you
Yeah.
watch this game because it's going to be so fucking good.
It does look like an exciting game. I'm keen for it. Moving on to the Sunday matches because starting to run a bit, but the Eels are playing Jordan Samrani, Volkman again, and they punted Tuilagi to the sun. Sean Lane, after playing middle all preseason, has now come back onto the edge. What do you make? Are the Eels going to get towed up again, or are they going to do a bit better like they did in that second half against the Storm, Eddy?
The Storm were just fucking round by the time they did better. That's sometimes what happens in blowouts. Fucking
Yeah.
guys like Munster just fucking went into fucking cruise mode. Fucking, they're almost treating it like a training run. Everyone's laughing and smiling, and they don't really need to try their hardest anymore. Like, because
There are no
obviously,
stakes.
yeah, obviously Yongi and fucking my boy Hoppy holds. Hoppy's minutes are promising. I think Hoppy's going to come good in a big way, I think. And yeah, apart from those two, like I know the rest of the Eels team can get fucked. If you got sucked into Kelma, then jump off. Now, obviously,
Jump off yesterday.
there's a lot of traps through this Eels team. I wouldn't be buying any of them. Just Yongi and Hopgood are the only ones of interest, I think.
I think
And
Hopgood.
people, if you don't have Hopgood, you're not going to be getting Hopgood, and everyone's got Youngie. So fucking, I don't think there's too much more to say, is there?
I think
Not
Hopgood's
really.
going to do really well without Madison on this bench. I don't understand why Madison's playing reserves, but it can only mean good things for Hoppy.
It's funny seeing that fucking reserve grade team. It's basically just an NRL forward pack. It's basically just the Eels forward pack from last year minus Hopgood. Like,
That's weird. He's throwing stuff around.
he obviously just, the coach had a mare of a preseason because he had all that time to figure out what he thought his top forward pick could be, and he obviously has no idea what that is. So don't know what he spent fucking the preseason planning.
Are you by any chance interested in Volkman?
No.
No, look, Moses has got this deep foot bruise.
Huh?
No.
We're buying Humphreys. Humphreys is the half we're giving. That's the end of the story. There's no even the point of talking about other potential halves.
I think that's just kind of disregarding entirely that that Moses is out.
Yes,
Okay.
I'm totally disregarding it. That's correct.
I think you're wrong here, to be honest, but sure.
What, you're going to bring in two halves this week when we've already got millions? No one's in the position where Volkman's going to be of any interest to them.
I think he's one of those guys that you'd buy, and we've said this for so many halves. He's one of those guys you would buy in another year, but yes, he got 450 kick meters, but Moses' timeline's still a little unknown, and we have all these 250k guys. It's so many halves for me.
I mean, you could talk about it in theory, but the reality of the matter is, fucking, out of the list of halves that we own or would like to own, he's so far down, there's no chance anyone's going to be picking him up. Like, what are you going to do? Pick him up ahead of Humphreys? You've already got Duffy, you've already got Sandon, fucking, you got Cleary. Like, in what way is he going to be entering your team?
Not my team. I don't have any space for him, but there's other people out there
Well,
who
no one
might.
does. No, they don't. Everyone's got heaps of halves, and they got to get Humphreys. Let's
Mate,
be
I
real
think the
here.
simple fact is Volkman has over 10 points of value, or has 10 points of value
So
clear.
do half the halves in the fucking comp.
And not everyone wants a certain half. Some people don't agree with the other halves. They're allowed, people are allowed to consider other players than just what you think is a good buy.
Nah, I think this one's clear cut and obvious.
Mate,
got
he
nothing
scored
more to say on him.
35 in a fucking absolute belting with no attacking stats. He has
Yeah, well,
clear value.
Oh, he does, but
So we're getting Humphreys. Everybody's going to get Humphreys. He is not Humphreys. He is not as good as Humphreys. Like, there's no point in pretending there's a world where anyone's getting him over Humphreys.
Some
I
people
think
already
just
have
move on.
Humphreys.
Well, then they've probably got like 7 halves in their suite.
I guess if you're selling Metcalf and you don't have Munster, maybe they're the people that might look at this, but I think they're probably chasing like the Horses of the world and the Gilberts of the world first.
I think you're talking about a hypothetical situation that doesn't exist for anyone.
I think you don't just put your nose up at players that have value just because they don't suit your team.
They don't suit anyone's team.
So next team then?
Yep.
Yeah. All right. This Tigers side, Stafford Toa is good. We kind of already talked about half these Tigers players, to be honest. We talked about a little bit about Galvin being good before the podcast started, Toa being good, Seyfarth being a sell if you want to, but also a hold if you want to. What about Jack Bird? He turn out to be not so good?
I'd probably hold him if I had him. The minutes are there. You'd like to see a bit more output. You wouldn't be stoked, but I'd probably hold him if I had him.
I'd definitely hold him. I wouldn't be buying him. He's got the minutes. He had a really bad game.
Oh,
with
you
a lot
definitely
of
don't buy him.
Yeah, but you'd definitely be holding him. He got the minutes. He had a really bad game with a lot of errors, which you'd hope would be cleaned up. I think it's definitely his flaw. I think he's gonna, he's still gonna make you some money. I just don't see why you'd be buying him now, given there's that many other cheap centers that have good value.
Yeah. Yeah, enough said.
Makes sense to me.
Obviously, Terrell Mazer, but we don't even need to say that. I'd like to think that every single one of our listeners owns Terrell May, and I'm really disappointed in you if you don't. And that's the end of the story there.
Yeah. 65 minutes as a guy who's a 1 ppm monster turns him into almost a Payne Haas equivalent, to be honest, and you will put those two in your mids and you will enjoy it.
Yep, and a legit captain opportunity.
Yeah, but don't do it around 3 because that's the Hopgood curse from 2023.
Yeah, so you say that.
Yeah. We got one more game after that, Dogs versus Titans. Who do you actually reckon will win this one? Do you reckon the Titans are up for it?
I'm on the Titans personally, but I'm a believer in the Titans to a fault. So I think that forward pack of the Titans is scary.
Yeah, I might slightly lean towards the Titans too. I think it could go either way, but yeah, if I just choose one, I guess I'd say Titans just.
There we go. Titans top 8 confirmed. But yeah, so we
Yeah,
finally actually
I
do
think
get...
I've got them. Yeah, I got them sitting about 8th.
Yeah. I can't remember what I had them in my preseason ladder, but I'd shift them to between like about a 7th and a 10th at the moment. But yeah, we finally actually get a team out of them, which is good. We have Brimson and Campbell, no surprise in the halves. Tino Locke, which was kind of expected with them buying another prop. And Fafita bench is probably the only other talking point about this. Why do they keep doing that?
Because they seem to have decided that they don't really see him as being a regular 80-minute player because I guess he's a bit of an impact player. And if you're only planning on playing him for 60 minutes anyway, you may as well do it off the bench because You can have him coming on as a bit of impact when players are a bit tired, and then playing the rest of the game and only needing to use the one interchange is the only thing I can think of. I assume that is why. Personally, if I was them, I'd just play him for 80 though.
Yeah, I'm with you, Eddie, on that. Like the thing is, it's not like he provides more big impact moments when he plays in a 60-minute role. He always does the same thing, which he only has one or two big plays, and that's regardless of how many minutes he's playing. You might as well keep him on there for 80.
And if you're $1 million fucking edge forward, fucking, you should be fucking playing 80 minutes.
Yeah.
Otherwise, like, fucking earn your paycheck, cunt.
Mm.
All good fucking edges should be playing 80 minutes, especially ones that are fucking $1 million men.
I'm actually really excited to watch the Titans play. I think they're going to play a really exciting brand of football that's going to score very well in fantasy for a lot of their attacking players. I think anyone that's got Brimson and JC in their team, I think it's going to be an exciting game for you, and you got to fucking pray that doesn't go all to shit. Because my god, after holding them for round one, it'd be rough to watch them fucking bomb it.
I was just about to say, you sound somewhat biased there.
No, I've only got JC in my team after ending up dropping Brimmer at the last minute, and fuck, I'm getting concerned, but I'm hoping that something's going to come big here. We'll see what happens.
I'm the opposite. I've got Brimo, but not JC. And Beluga's got both.
Oh, I actually don't mind having both, but I know I'm in the minority with that view. I think it's just really a tough hold for round one.
I wouldn't mind having both now, but I would have minded going sub 800 in the first round because of it and being on the back foot right off the get-go.
Yeah, no, it is a bit rough. But no, it's to be a good game.
I think they both do well.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's it. I don't think you'd be buying anyone now in this Titans team. If you started with them good, just fucking let it ride. And you give it a week to see how everyone performs in these new kind of positions. And then maybe we can reevaluate from there.
Not a bad plan.
Not bad. Dogs, not really too much different either. Hurt Man copped a massive shiner. Did you see? But he's still named it at lock. Curran's on the bench, which is good to see. And then the rest is as per program. No Kuraz yet. So we got Montoya and Wilson wings. And yeah, I expect that this will probably be not the game of the round, but I reckon this will be a good contest. I think the Titans will surprise some people, and I think it'll actually be pretty close.
So looking
for
Safita replaced who was it? Was it Sam Hughes or?
Yes, I think Sam Hughes. See, it's not telling me the outs for some reason, but I think Sam Hughes.
He was out last week. That's why.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, it doesn't really matter. Safita is not irrelevant at all. I'm just curious to know who was out. There's no one really there's no one to buy in this team. If you've got players like Preston, you hold them. If you have Reed Miney for whatever fucking reason, sell him. Fucking sell him as fast as you can. I know some people were curious about holding Mahoney because they want a bit of a pod hooker. One, you're fucking dumb. Two, sell him.
Yeah, don't get too cute with your pods, man.
He's 2.5% owned, and that's 2.5% too many.
You buy players because you genuinely think they're better than the alternatives, albeit mainstream, not because, there's a chance he might match the guy and I'll have fun about it.
If your fucking main reason for a pod is YOLO, then it's not a good idea. And that was the only fucking justification for Reed. You got to have a good reason.
Yeah. With you there. I think that's the game of the weekend.
Yeah, I think so.
I feel like that's been a long time, so we get that felt like ages.
We were going at like about 20 minutes a game for a good while. We had some good banter, but yeah, 2 hours for TLT pod's probably enough. Do we see Preston going 80? Critter came off with 10 to go. If Preston plays 80, he'll do better than the 42, and that's about it.
Maybe, but I've definitely got a star in Preston and seeing what happens with his price.
Yeah,
because he plays with the major buys, but it's not time to pull the trigger yet.
Nope.
So I think everyone's in the same
All right.
boat here. We're all doing the same trade. Metcalf to Humphreys.
Metcalf to Humphreys, lock and
And
load, done. Anyone
Yep,
doing a second
sweet.
one?
Fucking
Uh,
nah.
I'm tempted by one, but I just don't really have anyone to sell to the person I'm considering buying. So I think I'm just going to hold. Like, I don't really want to sell Seyfarth quite yet. I think it's good to give him another go.
Nah, neither. Yeah, I'm
Look,
going to give him another round.
you should trade hard to make money early in the season, but this feels really rare and luxury. And you'll probably be wanting to make 2 next week anyway, because you'll either confirm somebody who's not as good as you thought, or there'll be somebody that you know that you've got to have by then. So I think that's the narrative.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
All right. Well, should we? I felt like that was fucking like 2 hours or some shit. So should we leave it at that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so. Thanks for staying with us to the end if you've managed to make it this far. And we will catch you after the games this week.
Cheer the fucking boys.